Hello everyone. Today we are starting with drainage system in India. The nation prosperity is also depend on the availability of water. India is well equipped with different sources of water. Apart from the rain, Indian rivers drain the large of the area and helps in development process. Let us learn about the drainage system of Indian rivers. The flow of water through a well-defined channel is called as drainage. So the river system of an area is called drainage. River system consists of one main river and several small rivers that join main rivers is called tributaries, and it finally meets to a lake, ocean or sea. It is the area of land from which all water flows into a particular river is called drainage basin. The drainage basin is the entire river from start to finish, and along the course of the journey we have certain features that we can label on a drainage basin diagram. The source is a start of your river. The river always begins from an upland area, potentially where mountains are present or just upland areas. Within this particular area of drainage basin, you will have the small streams, which is known as tributaries. Where these tributaries join each other to form large river channels in your upland area is called confluence. This is a place where two streams join. Now let's talk about drainage patterns. The streams within a drainage basin form certain patterns depending on the slopes of land, underlying rocks, structure as well as the climatic conditions of the area. These are dendritic, trellis, rectangular and radial patterns. Let's start with dendritic. The dendritic pattern develops where the river channel flows the slope of the terrain. Terrain means land. The stream with its tributaries resembles the branches of a tree, thus the name dendritic. Now let's talk about second, that is trellis pattern. When river and its tributaries make a net-like shape is called trellis pattern. A trellis drainage pattern develops where hard and soft rock exist parallel to each other. Now let's talk about third, that is rectangular drainage. A rectangular drainage pattern develops on a strongly jointed rocky terrain. Now let's talk about the last pattern, that is radial pattern. The radial pattern develops when streams flow in different direction from a central peak or dome like structure. So here we have discussed about the four drainage patterns. The Indian river system is broadly divided into two groups: the Himalayan river system and the peninsular river system. The rivers of the Himalayan river system drains the northern region of the country. These are snow-fed and thus have perennial flow of water. Perennial means water throughout the year. Himalayan river system is itself subdivided into Indus river system and the Ganga and Brahmaputra river system. The Indus River system, it is one of the largest basins of the world, covering a length of 2,880 kilometers, that is approx 2,900 kilometers, of which in India it lies 1,114 kilometers. It is also called as Sindh. It originates from a glacier Kailasha mountain near Mansarovar Lake in the Tibetan Plateau. Following west, it enters India in the Ladakh district of Jammu and Kashmir. Then it cut across the Ladakh range and enters it into the Pakistan. The river flows southward and it is joined by the rivers like the Satluj, the Beas, the Ravi, the Chenab and the Jhelum near Mithankot in Pakistan. It finally discharges it into the Arabian Sea. A little over one-third of the Indus Basin is located in India in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh and Punjab. The Ganga river system. The Ganga is most important river of India. The length of the Ganga is 2,525 kilometers, out of which 2,415 kilometers is in India. It originates from the Gangotri glacier. Here it is known as the Bhagirathi. The river acquires its name after its head stream Alaknanda and Bhagirathi that unites at Devprayag, as shown over here. At Haridwar, the Ganga emerges from the mountain on the plains, then it joined by many tributaries such as the Yamuna, the Ghagra, the Gantak, the Kosi, the Chambal, the Betwa and the Son. It flows eastward till Farakha in West Bengal, where the rivers divides it into two tributaries, namely the Bhagirathi, which flows southward into Bangladesh and is joined by the Brahmaputra rivers. It is known as Meghna, and the Bhagirathi flows to the delta plain to the Bay of Bengal. The Brahmaputra river system. The Brahmaputra is one of the largest rivers of the world, as its origin is from Kailasha range near the Mansarovar Lake in Tibet. From it flows eastward parallel to the Himalayas, where it is known as Sangpo, which means the purifier. The Namcha Barwali peak obstructs the flow of the river and flows it to take a U-turn. Thereby, the river enters India in Arunachal Pradesh through a deep gorge. In this region, the river is so popular called Dihang and is joined by many other tributaries. In Assam, in India, it passes through a region of high rainfall and carries considerable amount of silt. Then it flows southward. On the way in Assam, it makes Asia's largest river island. At downstream, it joins with River Ganga and finally pours its water into the Bay of Bengal. The Peninsular River System. The Peninsular River System is older than the Himalayan river system. The peninsular rivers are mainly dependent on rain. Thus, they are seasonal flow of water. The Mahanadi River System. River Mahanadi rises in the highlands of the Chhattisgarh, flows through Orissa to reach to the Bay of Bengal. The length of the river is about 860 kilometers and it is joined by the Senath, Hasdo, the Mand. The Mahanadi Basin covers the parts of Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand and Orissa. The Godavari River System. The Godavari is the largest peninsular river. It rises from the slopes of the Western Ghat, Nasik district of Maharashtra. Its length is about 1,500 kilometers and the Godavari finally meets with the Bay of Bengal. The river is joined by the Purna, the Varda, the Pranhita, the Manjura, the Vainganga and the Penganga. Godavari Basin covers parts of Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Orissa, Andhra Pradesh. It is also known as Dakshin Ganga. The Krishna River System. The Krishna River rises from Mahabaleshwar, Maharashtra. Its length is about 1,400 kilometers and reaches the Bay of Bengal. It is joined by the Tungabhadra, the Koyana, the Ghataprabha and the Bhima. The Krishna basin covers parts of Maharashtra, Karnataka and the Andhra Pradesh. The Kaveri river system. The Kaveri rises in the Brahmagiri range of the Western Ghats, flows for about 760 kilometers and reaches the Bay of Bengal. It is joined by the Kabini, Survarnavati, Bhavani, Amaravati, Hemavati and Arkavati. The Kaveri basin covers parts of Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. The Narmada river basin. It rises near Amarkantak Hills in Madhya Pradesh, flows westward for a distance of 1312 kilometers and finally it meets with Arabian Sea. The Narmada basin covers parts of Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. The Tapi river system. The Tapi rises in the Satpura ranges in the Bittur district of Madhya Pradesh, flows westward for 724 kilometers in a rift valley parallel to the Narmada and finally meets with the Arabian Sea. The Tapi basin covers parts of Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra. Role of rivers in economy. Rivers form one of the most distinctive features of India amongst its many geographical marvels, and at the same time they also carries a wider significance in cultural, economical, geographical as well as religious development. The rivers in India are considered as god and goddesses. The rivers have been of fundamental importance through the human history. Water from the river is a basic natural sources. Using rivers for irrigation, navigation and hydropower generation is of special significance, leading to flourishing Indian economy. River pollution. Rapid urbanization and industrialization led to the discharge of solid, chemical and other pollutants into the water. Pollution creates due to the untreated sewage and industrial waste. Exclusive use of pesticides and chemical fertilizers pollutes the rivers. Such adverse practices have destroyed natural ecosystem of river and affects the aquatic life. Now let's talk about lakes in India. What is a lake? A lake is a beautiful area filled with water. Lakes are classified as freshwater lake and saltwater lake. Most all the saltwater lakes are natural in nature, whereas freshwater lake is natural as well as man-made. Now let's start with the lakes one by one. First, let's start with Chilka Lake. Chilka Lake is the largest salt water lake of India that is located in Odisha. Second is Pulicat Lake. It is the second largest saline water lake in India and it lies at the border of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Now, third lake is in Rajasthan, that is Sambar Lake. It is the largest inland salt water lake in India. It is a natural lake with extensive saline wetland. Now let's talk about man-made and artificial lake. First one is Govind Sagar. It is a reservoir situated in the Himachal Pradesh and it is formed by Bakra Nangal Dam. Sardar Sarovar Lake. It is the freshwater lake built on the river Narmada on Sardar Sarovar Dam. It provides fresh water to the states of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. Buller Lake is the largest natural freshwater lake in India. It is formed by tectonic activity, so it is a tectonic lake. final lake is Dal Lake. Dal Lake lies in Srinagar. Actually, Srinagar is surrounding Dal Lake. It is a glacier lake. So here we are finished with the lakes and also finished with the chapter. I hope you will have understood each and every concept of this chapter. Thank you.